Would you like to discover the power of words to hurt and heal? If you are interested in that topic, today we have an amazing, beautiful guest speaker who wrote this fabulous little book. It's MagicKal, Irish Words of Wisdom. It's one of my favorite books, actually. Honestly, I'm not exaggerating. It's magical. When I received it in my mailbox, I was really enchanted instantly. And I know Kate Hamilton, the author of this book, for quite some time now. So it was a beautiful, beautiful gift for me. I did not know you wrote that book. So thank you so much for that gift, Kate.
You're very welcome, Natalie.
Yeah, and we will base largely this podcast on what you had written and your life experience healing trauma. You have worked with so many people, helping them heal on many levels of their being, and you will tell us all about it in a second. Firstly, I just would like to ask all the viewers that are with us live, if this is the first time you are watching on Facebook, please give Facebook permission to show your name. And the way to do it, there is a little text next to this video or under this video. It asks you to give permission. Once you do it one time, you don't have to do it ever again. So, but if you're new to this, please do that so you can interact with us. You can ask your questions, you can make comments, and we would love to know what your name is. If you're watching on YouTube, not a problem. You don't need to do anything, just enjoy. And the Lovetarian Way podcast, the Lovetarian Way movement, is all about assisting souls such as yourself on their journey of awakening. And we do know that this journey can be bumpy and it can be a rounding roller coaster. We call it in the mystery school, when I'm initiating, a dragon ride. There are days when you are super thrilled and all enlightened, and then there are days when you're really in the abyss of darkness, and it's all good. It's all a part of evolution. And our job today, interviewing Kate, is to really help you with, empower you how to speak to yourself, how to use words, which are energies, just as our thoughts and feelings, to help you empower yourself and to help you have more, peaceful experience, shall we say, Kate, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So let me ask our guest a little bit about herself so you can get to know her. As I've told you, we've been Facebook friends for quite some time now. But I mean, honestly, we have never met. So thank you for this digital age, right? Where you can get to know to people just by interactions via newsletter or Facebook. But Kate, we've known each other for quite some time now. It's been many
A
years.
long time. A long time.
Exactly. And I'm so happy that you have come to this podcast. I know you've been coaching people and you are a mediator as well. What do you mediate?
Well, it's I used to work in the community voluntary sector in community areas of high political unrest and deprivation. And so our job was basically to try and work with people to solve issues and conflicts at a community level between different communities that were opposite in terms of religion. Living in Northern Ireland, we have the Catholic and Protestant community, and we have areas that incorporated both. So from time to time, there were issues over the years that needed to be resolved. So working with communities to try and ensure that there was a peaceful resolution and try and get communities to work together as opposed to being separate and isolated from each other.
So you certainly know how to use words that can heal.
Well, we try.
Oh, you do your best. So what inspired you to write this beautiful book? And anybody, please, if you can, buy an actual copy of the real book, because it's so beautiful. It has lovely illustrations as well. So much wisdom. So do tell about the history of this book, what inspired you. And I'm going to put the website for people to get it. It's just, remind me, it is Irish Words of Wisdom, right?
Wordsofwisdom.com.
Exactly. So please, the microphone is yours. The story, the inspiration, and how it could help us heal, not hurt.
Okay. Well, it all started many, many years ago. We have the troubles in Northern Ireland and the trauma associated with that. And then we also have just life in general. the numbers of people who have died in my life from a very young age, and I suppose the darkness that surrounded my life in terms of grief and sadness. And I ended up doing an end of life coach. I was always searching for how to heal and why do I feel the way I feel, and all the different problems associated with loss. So the older people who were in my life, my grandmothers, they would have different sayings for all occasions, the same as my father. He was a great man for coming off with one line. And when you sat and listened to the words and the wisdom in those lines, it kind of soothed you at that moment. So then I started doing the research and learning about, I wanted to heal and soothe my issues for my personal trauma. So I went searching and started reading as much as I could and learning as much as I could and listening to the older people. Both my grandmothers were in their 90s
Oh,
whenever they died. So I didn't understand in today's society, so many people are dying at such a young age. And I wanted to know how could they, I suppose, get through everything that they went through in terms of trauma and survive that and thrive, basically. When our, like my peers, there's a lot of my peers that are gone who have checked out or who have died of a disease. So I started doing the research to find out how can you heal quickly, and I went into all the therapies that were available. And I suppose at one stage in my life where I had huge trauma, my whole nervous system just went,
wow.
and I started losing weight and I couldn't control it. And, meditation, I couldn't even meditate. The thoughts, it was as if everything was coming up to the surface to be healed. So my mother-in-law, who was a great inspiration, she had cures of the sprain and a condition called heart fever. So doctors years ago would have sent patients to her father for heart fever. So that's, could have been 60, 70 years ago. And the results of that were people were restored back to full health. So the same with the sprain. It was very obvious very quickly that the sprain was cured within a couple of hours, really.
Wow, how did
So
that happen?
I suppose we have a tradition in Ireland. There's loads of traditions in Ireland. There's loads of superstitions, but we have a culture of people who have gifts and pertain to health issues. So, I mean, they can heal animals, they can heal people, and it's kind of underground, if you like, in that a lot of people don't believe in cures. But those who do believe, again, going back to the belief system,
Yep.
those who do believe are cured. So I benefited from cures as a child, and it was a norm in the house to say if you've got scarlet fever, if you've got ringworm, if you've got anything, that you go and you have your cure, and the cures worked. So for people who didn't believe in the cures and thought it was a load of rubbish, well, it didn't work.
Yep.
So that kind of got me on the road then. Well, how come it works for some people and it doesn't work for others? And, what's the process behind that? So I just basically learned about the power of words in terms of soothing and healing, and reading, your Chef Wayne Dyer, all of the greats that are out there. Thank God for technology that we do have the information, and coming to the conclusion that there were times in my life whenever somebody said something that you needed to hear it at that time. So I decided then to choose the poems and the old Irish sayings that people had, that they were able to use themselves to heal their particular circumstances. So what's for you won't pass you, all life's disappointments are blessings in disguise, all of those things that really do, whenever you accept those things, they do work.
Yep.
So I suppose for me, learning and research, and I resonated with an awful lot of the information that was coming through, and it was, that works, and then putting into practice. what I was learning, and really finding out that the importance of words with intention. And Brian Ridgely talks about with intention. So the words themselves aren't anything unless you have intention behind them. So if we believe that we can heal ourselves, if we believe that we can achieve, if we, but whatever our belief system is what we will experience. And that goes back an awful, awful long time. So I think that that was part of the reason why I wanted to develop a compilation of the words of wisdom that impacted and supported me over the years.
Oh, it's your doggy. Yeah, do you? Oh, that's okay. We can wait.
Oh, I'm so sorry. The dog's barking.
Is it your doggy?
Yes, I can put him out. Can I get 2 seconds to put him out?
Yeah, you can do that. I will maybe show the book a little bit. You do that.
Okay, 2 seconds.
You do that. Yeah, so while Kate is dealing with her lovely dog, who is actually speaking the words, I need attention. So this beautiful book, oh, you can see the dog. You can see the dog here. What is the doggy's name?
That's Bono.
That's him?
Bono. That's Bono, yeah.
From you too?
Yes, yes, because he rocks.
I think he was saying, Mama, Mama, I need your attention.
Yes.
Yeah, so you were saying, I love how this book begins. Tis herself. Do you want to read it, the beginning? It's so nice. I'm not Irish, but I resonated with that so much. Why did you choose that poem to begin with?
Is it Maureen O'Hara? Yeah.
Tis herself.
Yeah. I suppose, I mean, when that's one of the things, we have so many women in Ireland who have, I suppose, led the path for us. And she was one that was very much in our lives for, you know, from a grandmother and the wisdom. And I suppose just watching her and her films and her life story, how successful she was. And also, I do think that Irish women have, a wee bit like yourself, have this spark of defiance in terms of of not letting anything really get us down, or, you know, if we do go down, we get back up. And she was that person. So she's definitely somebody who has shown an awful lot of women how important it is to be yourself and basically take no bullshit from anybody.
Yeah, that's right. Do you want to read it for us?
Yeah. Being an Irish woman means many things to me. An Irish woman is strong and feisty. She has guts and stands up for what she believes in. She believes that she is the best at whatever she does and proceeds through life with that knowledge. She can face any hazard that life throws her way and stay with it until she wins. She is loyal to her kinsmen and accepting of others. She's not above a sock in the jaw if you have it coming.
Beautiful. So, in essence, how would you sum that up on the power of words?
Well, I suppose she's basically saying to us, you know, get on with it and stand up for yourself and stand up for what's right as far as I'm concerned. Now, I wouldn't be giving somebody a sock in the jaw, but certainly with my words would use words to basically fight for justice. So I think that that's one of the things as well in terms of the women's movement and the troubles in Northern Ireland, or, you know, pick a subject really. So we are very strong women, and I think that's the case across the world. If you've been lucky enough to have guidance from really strong women, which I have, so the resilience,
It's beautiful what you're saying. It's actually so in alignment with, I'm about to just launch an foundational online course for the Lovetarian Way called Transform Your Life with the Lovetarian Way. And we really, as you know, you've been in the group for quite some time. We focus on the principles that I've received, you could say, from my higher self, from Masters of Light, whatever people resonate calling that higher energy that we are all embodying, really, if we let it. It's our choice. So just like this lady, I have chosen to believe I am powerful, I am the master of my life, or actually master in training, because obviously I'm evolving, I'm still learning. And pillar one really guides me to take 100% of responsibility for my life, because my life is mine to co-create. My words are mine to speak, my thoughts are mine to think, my feelings are mine to feel. Nobody is going to do it for me, and I get to choose if I want to nourish my being with love and light, kindness, compassion, courage, or if I want to put myself down. And depending on my choice, my life is going to be quite different, right?
Big time. But I think, Natalie, and I know that it's been discussed on your podcast, I think the programming and conditioning that
Exactly.
we've all undergone, and the whole area of words and subliminal messaging and the environment we're in and what we're subjected to, the TV, everything, and when you see it and you understand it from a different perspective, and you have to really unpack it all, what your belief system is, and know thyself, which is the huge problem. We don't know ourselves, and we're so busy with life, and we're so busy trying to make ends meet or just survive COVID, for example. And the words, soothing words, this too will pass, all of those things. And they sound really flippant, as if, they don't really mean that much. But if we could use those as seeds to self-soothe, and everything does pass, everything will pass. It may not be the same. We have to adjust, we have to adapt, we have to be flexible in our approach, but maintaining a standard of in your mind of positivity, which is very difficult at times, but recognizing that you're maybe in a black hole, or you're not in particularly good form, and trying to I don't know, reset the mind. This, I've been here before. I'll get through this. I've been through worse. My mother-in-law was, when she was alive, she was a great woman. If she had a cold or flu, and you asked her how she was doing, she'd say, there's a lot of people a lot worse off than I am tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So, not getting into a self-pity state of mind where you just go on a tangent and down a spiral, which an awful lot of people do. And I
Yeah.
worked in the community sector, and I've seen all of the women in communities who are antidepressants, all the different medication that they're on to get rid of their feelings, to try and soothe them through medication, which doesn't work. And so I suppose one of the things about the book was, it was cathartic for me doing it, in that I had to immerse myself in very positive and uplifting research. So I find that just that in itself, just looking at all the people that have gone before who have simplified everything, but we probably can't grasp it because it is too simple. So I suppose now I was looking through the book before I started to speak to you, and looking at one of the quotes, and it was from Patrick Kavanagh, he didn't live too far from where I am at the moment, and he talks about, it's impossible to read the daily press without being diverted from reality. You're full of enthusiasm for the eternal verities of life, and it's worth living, and then out of sinful curiosity, you open your newspaper and you're disillusioned and wrecked. So that's a long, long time ago that he wrote that particular quote, but also shows you at that time it was exactly the same. So although the times have changed, we still have the same issues. And I suppose one of my questions was, well, how were people so resilient whenever you compare the life that they had in comparison to the life that we have now, with all of our wonderful opportunities and access to information? So all of this is coming from wisdom that's been passed down through the generations. They knew that the chakra system, they didn't understand that it may be the chakra system, but they knew that, for example, if your throat, they knew that it was expression, and the stomach for confusion, and they knew all the different ailments, and they knew how to soothe that. So words are very important, but the emotion behind them is what delivers the result. So I used to think about the affirmations, Louise Hay saying all the different affirmations. They're no good unless you feel the emotion associated. So I'm going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. Well, you're not okay if you don't believe that you are going to be okay.
Yep.
And distraction and all the different things that we do to try and get away from the issues that we don't want to talk about or heal. And I think that everything kind of comes up and is manifested as dis-ease. So I think looking at it from that point of view, I mean, now we know that words are 7% are the words, and 93% are the emotional response, and that's a completely different teaching from years and years, all the different philosophers. And so it's the emotion associated. And I think that one of the things, emotional freedom technique was a great way of calming for me in different situations where I was nervous, and bang the chest, and get it out of your body, and then use the words after that then to self-soothe and try and heal. And I think that that's one of the reasons why I ended up not having a disease, is by using the different therapies. And I mean, there's so many therapies you could, I just wanted to get the fastest. How do you heal fast? How do you, and I suppose in terms of finding logical answers to questions, that was one of the ways that I kind of was able to get through some of the stuff, was, understanding that this is part of it, and that we can't, accept the things you cannot change the things you can, and have the wisdom to know the difference.
Can you give us some examples of what could be healed as you understand it with the power of words, emotionalized?
I think everything can be. I think that there's nothing. I mean, Dr. Joseph Murphy, he was an Irishman as well, and I started studying him, a great man, and he talks about the superstition and the subconscious and all the different things, but it is the repetition of, well, first of all, putting everything out on the table and looking at what your thinking patterns are. Are you mostly positive, negative? What kind of a thinking, are you anticipating good, or are you anticipating bad? Thinking about really what is your personality type, and how do you react or respond? And knowing that the emotions that you have inside are emotions associated probably with other issues that have absolutely nothing to do with the situation. So your reaction could be completely out of line with what the issue actually is. So self-awareness, starting off with self-awareness and looking at why am I feeling this way? What am I feeling? Even knowing that you are evoking feelings in yourself, in the first instance, and feeling, if it's anger, if it's sadness, whatever it is, if it's happiness, how do you get to that state? And I used to listen to Esther Hicks, and she'd say, you've 17-second window.
Yep.
So if you start the momentum, and everything is momentum, what you focus on, you get more of. So if you're in a really good mood in the morning and you wake up and life's wonderful and I'm so grateful, and the gratitude, that would be my big focus. I focus on gratitude no matter what it is. If it's a situation, if it looks from the external point of view that it's a difficult situation or whatever, I want to know, I'll soothe myself by saying, what's the lesson out of this? How is this for me? And how can I make sure that I don't go off on a subconscious tangent of negativity? And
Yeah.
that's how I try and do it every day. Now, it doesn't always work, depending on the situation. But I also think that music and the power of words through music, you've been in the car many times and a song comes on the radio and the words are just, and add the music into it and that just changes your physiology and your body and everything you're thinking. And if you could take, through the bad days, it was Whitney Houston, step by step, brick by brick, and the music going with it. So you're automatically moving your body, and as you know, emotions, the physical emotions then move with the movement. And I think that the songs, um, they give you the opportunity then to really, well, that came on for a reason. I think that, I need that message today, and I do believe we get the messages and we get the people that come into our lives to help us. And somebody will say something completely random to you that if you're listening, that's the other thing. We have to be conscious instead of unconscious sleep. So,
Exactly. No, you really nailed it there. In our workshops, Lovetarian Way workshops, we really focus on awareness, conscious choice, being present with what is going on within your body, what you are saying, because words, they are very co-creative if you actually choose to believe that they are, because you can look at them like I said something and become aware what you said and say to yourself, wow, what did I say? Why did I say that? What am I really feeling? Because they can give us a lot of clues, right? Like sometimes
mhm,
we're gonna be blasting something and you didn't even realize that this rage was within you, but there you go. So you could just hold on there for a second, become present, bring the light of awareness into the situation, and really ask some questions that you might not want to do that, but if you want to change and transform, you need to be willing to do that. Otherwise, well, it's not going to happen, is it?
exactly,
It's your
exactly,
responsibility, right?
exactly. I did an article a couple of years ago. I suppose over the years, whenever I worked in the funeral industry, and it was about the things that people say during a death in a family. And I basically described it as the three eyes:
Oh yeah.
the idiot, the insensitive, and I can't remember what's the other one. Insensitive, the ignorant. So those people who haven't experienced death, and the insensitive, those people who are just insensitive people, and the idiot who basically just comes out with anything that they can think of. And the amount of people that responded to that article who were so hurt by the comments and the words that people said to them. For example, a mother who has lost a child, well, it's okay, you can have another child, you know heaven's got an angel, all the different things. You're young enough to marry again if it's a widow, or people who think that they're being helpful and who actually make it worse for other people. But if that person was aware and could just say, well, they're one of those three
Yeah.
categories. So, if we were all smart enough to understand that what people say isn't maybe what they wanted to do, it didn't come out the right way, if we could give them the fool's pardon. And that's what our elders taught us. you know they would say pastoral remarks of what somebody says, and we take it so bad, and people say, don't take it in, or don't allow their words to hurt you. And I think that that's a process of people becoming really conscious, as we talked about, but also understanding that we all have our, I don't think anybody's really 100% confident that it doesn't matter what you say. If you come on, you say, I don't like the color of your top. If I have the confidence to just pass remarks of those words. But an awful lot of people do take in what other people say based on the relationship with them, and how much they uh, put onto the words of other people. So taking self-responsibility, as you said earlier, and realizing that whatever other people's issues aren't necessarily your issues, and they're not even
maybe
relevant.
maybe it would be a good idea actually to talk about mirrors, because for me and the people that I've been working with, what has been very, very helpful was understanding on a very deep level that everything is energy vibrating at certain frequency. I mean, today
Hmm.
you don't need to be a spiritual person to acknowledge those concepts, because that is quantum physics, that's quantum biology. Today we have the science beyond a shadow of a doubt that tells us straight up everything is energy vibrating at certain frequency with certain density. Your body has certain density, words have other density, thoughts have other frequency, etc., etc. So if you can acknowledge the fact that we're actually not just Newtonian physical beings, we are beings of thoughts, emotions, right? We have mental, spiritual, all sorts of layers to our beings. We are
Hmm.
multidimensional. And if you can acknowledge that, if you can just open yourself up to that knowledge, and then you will understand that all energy is really connected with all energy, because all of it exists in this infinite field of quantum possibilities. Some call it God, some call it source, some call it divine mother, whatever, doesn't matter what you call it. It just is. And this energy is actually non-judgmental. It exists, it co-creates, and we are a part of that energy. And as such, we get to create what we want, and we actually get to create a lot of what we don't want, because we don't understand that we
Hmm.
have that much power, right? So
Exactly.
what I help people understand is that if somebody hurts you, at the end of the day, you have a problem, not the other person, because they are not even aware. So is there any point to waste your energetic resources on trying to change the mirror, so to speak, of what you need to do? Because if you look in the mirror and you don't like something, are you going to be beating the mirror, or are you going to be working on the whatever is going on within you, on emotional level, on mental level, on physical level, right? And well, actually, you can even thank the person, because they give you a nice reflection of something that triggers you, that bothers you, that hurts you. And I'm not saying here that people wouldn't, actually, Pillar 2 teaches us to implement the golden rule: do not do unto others what you don't want done to yourself, because we are all one energy and we are connected. So it does matter what other people actually do, etc., etc. At the end of the day, it's
Mhm.
us who react to it, and responsibility is the ability to respond, right? So
Absolutely.
you can take it as a gift, or you can take it as a curse, as you said at the beginning.
Hmm.
The meaning,
Exactly.
the meaning is up to us, isn't it?
Nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So that was one of the things that, as you say about the mirror, that's a really hard one to get your head around. That your vibration
Yeah.
is potentially what's causing somebody else to, they're going to do your vibration, you're going to do their vibration. So how do you hold steady your vibration and put that bubble around you, make sure that nobody can penetrate it, and nobody, as you say, can put you in good or bad form. It's your thought process through the whole thing. Yeah.
But millions of people in the world right now, they are awakening. This movement is for awakening souls. We are not talking here to people who are choosing to live in what is called this Newtonian world, where I am a machine and life happens to me. No, we're talking to
Hmm.
people who are starting to understand and interact with everything in a way that
Hmm.
they are actually co-creating that reality on the energy level. And these people can research. I mean, like you said at the beginning, today we have incredible access to information, and there's
Hmm.
just no excuses. If you want to empower yourself, if you want to uplift yourself, if you want to grow your awareness, personal development, spiritual development, oh my goodness, there's just so much free stuff. I mean, look at this podcast. Nobody wants money from anybody. There's no excuses. Your will, your choice, your decision will determine the course of your life, because information is available for you to reach out to, but you need to be willing, right?
Absolutely. That is the thing. And as you say, everybody's kind of waking up now to, I mean, the Law of Attraction, the movie, The Secret.
Yeah, the secret.
I think that started a whole, it certainly was one of the things that started me on my research and the Celestine prophecy. But again, it goes back to the condition, and, it's in the higher powers that be for us all to stay asleep and to basically take what they're giving us as truth and law. And if we do believe all of that, well, that compliance then will take us down a completely different road. And if you do believe, if you don't believe, you're right. So that was one of the things that I grappled with, because if you're talking about COVID, as everybody has been, and you believe that the vaccination is a really good thing and it's going to save you from the onset of COVID, well, then it's going to work for you. And if you believe it's a bad thing and that it potentially has harmful whatever, well, you're right there as well. So that's been...
you look at the fabulous book written by Dr. Lipton, The Biology of Belief. It's like placebo effect, nocebo effect. If you believe that the sugar pill will heal you, if you really, really do believe it might just heal you. If you believe doctor who tells you've got 2 months to live and you will really buy into diagnosis, you might be dead within a month or two. And oftentimes, they did post-mortem and people actually died completely healthy.
Yes. Yeah, Dr. Murphy, he talks about that, and he used to go across the world and he used to interview those the older people in different tribes and different countries. And he went to Russia and asked the older women in Russia what was the secret to their longevity. And one woman said drinking vodka. And went to another Irish man and said, your health's brilliant, you're in great shape for your age at 90 something years. What's your secret? And he says, whiskey, women, and laughing. So again, it just he also cites a story where the doctor, one man who was riddled with cancer, and he went in and the surgeon was going to operate, and he said to the surgeon, make sure you get it all. So the surgeon didn't have the heart to tell him that he was riddled. He closed him up, and the patient, when he came round again, and he says, did you get it all, doctor? And the doctor says, I did. Go and live the rest of your life. So he lived for 45 years after that. His belief was such in the doctor's
absolutely ability.
Yeah. So.
And this brings us exactly to the power of words to heal and hurt, because if we look at, again, everything as an energy form, uplifting words will do just that. And words can literally also kill you.
Exactly. The belief that people have in what they're told by whoever it is, and it depends on the power that they hand over to that person. So at the moment we have...
it also brings us to affirmations, because a lot of people say, oh, affirmations don't work. Oh, affirmations do work. Well, if you don't believe they don't work, exactly that, they will not work. If you believe they work, they do work. And like thoughts are, I believe the researchers, we have 50,000-60,000 thoughts every single day. Of course, all of those thoughts are not creative, because we would be, manifesting like this everywhere. But the moment, and the formula I've downloaded from my higher self is called the algorithm of co-creation. When you look at this mathematics of creation, when you take a thought, any thought, and that thought will marry the emotion, what you talked about, emotion, power, energy emotionalized. It's just like putting turbo on that thought, and the energies derive from, two opposing polarities, right? Fear, love, light, darkness. So depending which energy is feeding that thought, it's like you talked about Abraham Hicks, the momentum of 17 seconds. If you keep thinking a thought and you start feeling that thought, let's say, for example, it's emotionalized by love, by kindness, by gratitude. After 17 seconds, the energetic momentum kicks in and you keep going and you keep going. My God, you can transform the world, right?
Absolutely. And
As opposed
gratitude
to,
is,
yeah, as
I
opposed
think
to the
gratitude
other.
is it's the fastest way to get your to stabilize your vibration and to move into higher vibration, no matter what it is. It's starting off your day with a morning gratitude, and trying to maintain that, and as you say, being aware that we do have all of these thoughts that are going on, and probably knowing that they're at a subconscious level. That really helped me as well, learn about the fact that, well, it's not your fault, because this
No,
is a program running in the background, the same as a computer. We need to upload new information and develop new neural pathways in the brain that basically dissolve the old patterns of thought and practice. So,
absolutely. I always
mhm,
say to people, everything is, work, and you can look at this work as a torture and a path of suffering, or you can say, okay, I am building myself. I am building my life, just as this muscle here.
yes,
It didn't just happen. I made a choice. And actually, you know what? It's not about me pounding my muscles in the gym every day. No, I actually, I walk, I move, I use wonderful words. My body is a beautiful fat burning machine. Anything that I eat, my body keeps what it needs, releases what it doesn't, easily and healthfully. I enjoy, I rejoice, everything happens for me. So, everything that we speak, the body can hear. And if you add energy of joy to it, the gratitude, appreciation, self-love, my God, it's like body opens up. Do you know how many times I have been told by my girlfriends who've been programmed by family, society, schooling, whatever, government? If you watch news, stop. Don't
yeah,
watch the news. I stopped 12 years ago. More power to me, right? I choose what I want to watch. I choose what I want to feed my body, my cells with, because everything is being taken in like a sponge on that energy
mhm,
level, right? So I have chosen to believe that my body is a fat burning machine no matter what I eat. And on that note, as I was doing this affirmation, I actually make better choices. It's not like I'm
mhm,
stuffing myself with pizzas and ice cream and all of that. No, I make healthy choices. But when I want to, when I'm going on holidays, I just came back from Poland. I'm going to eat the things that I don't eat here. I'm going to eat the cakes. I'm going to eat the ice cream, the ones that I can't get here. And I'm going to do it with what? Joy, appreciation, beautiful affirmations. And I'm going to be so happy. And you know what?
mhm,
My body actually responds to it. It's not a problem. If I was beating myself up, oh, this is so bad for me. Oh my God, I will have to lose 5 kilos after I come back. Oh my God. All of it will magnify my body, my cells of my body will respond to those words. So, in consequence of being a person that believes that my words, my thoughts, my all my actions are
mhm,
actually, uplifting, most of them, I've healed a lot, just as you did, for many, many years. And I have been observing over the years how my life is shaping when I'm choosing empowering thoughts, feelings, words, as opposed to the other ones, right? Oh my God, that's like creating heaven on
mhm,
earth and creating hell on earth. I will
exactly.
choose heaven anytime.
You're the example with your health issues and how
Yeah,
you have thrived. I mean, I don't know how many people who were in remission from cancer, for example,
yeah,
and the seed was always put in them, we're going to have to look after you now because it may come back, or,
yeah,
and what is remission anyway? I
yeah.
mean, I thought I always used to say that word remission used to really bug me, because yeah, it's gone. It's gone. You're cured, you're healed, that's it. And then whenever it did come back, I mean, the root cause was never addressed. It was always a superficial disease that was
Exactly.
manifested in the body. And so
Yeah.
you're the example of um
No, it
a
didn't
health
really even
and
happen, right? Because you remember my story when I spoke about it in one of the podcasts or several. And when the doctors told me, 6 months of your life you've got, with chemo, this and that, and I was like, no. First of all,
mm-hmm,
I was like, no, I don't believe it. It's like and then some people say, well, but you must trust the doctor, or you are in denial. And I'm like, well, I feel what I feel. And, I don't accept this kind of diagnosis. Yes, there's something in my body, meaning the energy was not flowing smoothly. Something in my being created some sort of blockage, and it is an energy form. It is a denser energy form. There are ways to let that energy dissolve, relax, not just remove it and that's it. There has to be more to it, because there is a root cause behind it. And instead of trusting that doctor at this point, I said, I disagree with you, and I'm going to look at other solutions. And then I called bioenergotherapist, which is a person literally that can sense the energy fields in your body, and he can move the energy in your body. We actually can do it ourselves if we learn. That's why I'm really passionately studying energy medicine myself. And you can really move pain, you can move density out of your body, completely shift and really heal. I mean, like Donna Eden, the creator of Eden medicine, she healed multiple sclerosis. She healed herself from heart attack. There's hundreds of thousands of people that are quantumly, by moving energy, healing, aligning their bodies, balancing their bodies. So what I had done, this person helped it move. Everything was aligned. By the time that all the tests came back, because I did remove the tumor, right? They removed the tumor. I said, okay, you removed the teeth. We may as well do that. But according to the doctor, that tumor would have already consequences on my entire being, meaning, let's nuke it, right? Let's do chemo, let's do radiation, which we know by research that 75% of doctors would never do chemo, by the way. So that should make a person think a little. There's a great book written by Leanne McTaggart, What Doctors Don't Tell You. Well, read that book, draw your own conclusions, and see what you would like to do, if you believe that or if you believe that. I mean, again, power of belief, right? I chose to believe that I actually have a power to heal. And so whether it was cancer or not, who knows? I can have conversations with people telling me, maybe there was no cancer. I'm like, maybe it wasn't. And what is cancer anyway? It's a name, isn't it? It's a word, right?
Yeah. And we know now that, the number of diseases and the new words and the new conditions that are coming out every single day.
Exactly.
And I suppose we have to look at, what are the benefits for all this. I know that over here, whenever I was a community worker, there was huge benefits for people who, literally benefits as in money for children who had certain issues, and we're coming up with all of these issues, and I suppose labeling people from a very young age with a disease that it's not even there. It's a transient emotional state as a result of whatever they're going through at that particular time, that they're saying, well, the label is this and you will have to be on this medication. Blood pressure, for example, over here the belief is that if you have high blood pressure, you go on your blood pressure tablet and you're on it for the rest of your life.
That brings us back to that brings us back to the meaning of modern medicine. If I'm ever, knock on wood, right? Knock on wood. If I'm ever in an accident, maybe I would like doctors to put me together. But when it comes to chronic conditions, stuff that did not exist in the past, well, stay away from the traditional medicine. Go and look at energy. Go and look at, alternative treatments, and change maybe the way you think, the way you speak, the way you eat. Like 100 years ago that people even eat what is called processed food, which is not even food. And this actually interacts with the energies of your body, and it starts changing your biochemistry. People have not been pumping their minds with the news, with the agenda that exists at some vibrational level that is all about controlling society. So you don't need to live in that world. You can choose to turn off the news and be rebirthed, literally rebirth yourself anew by pumping your mind with such beautiful books, with the wisdom of the ages, wisdom of our ancestors. That book about blue zones, where the centenarians are sharing the words of wisdom. And what do they say? joy, love, you know, I mean,
Fun.
fun,
Fun. the
movement,
biggest
you
the
know.
biggest cure to all ailments. There's a quote over here: good night's sleep and a laugh are the cure to all ailments. And that is true. I mean, keeping the older people had a sense of uh, laughter and joy and fun in the midst of real hardship, and they got through it. Irish people are all, the banter that they have, and
Yeah.
you know they're just fun loving people who don't take it too seriously.
No.
So I think taking everything too seriously, in terms of growing up, and I mean the external circumstances warrant when you look at it from the outside in. Yes, there are real issues and there are real problems, but again, it goes back to reaction and response to it, and making sure keeping a level head, and try and not get too high, not too low, balance everything in moderation. And I suppose that's the best quote in the book is, everything in moderation. But now
Including
we have,
moderation itself. Have you heard that one?
yeah, there you go, you see. But there's too many people want to give their personal responsibility away to others, and they've got justification if they're looking for it. So if it is, maybe losing weight or whatever the thing is, stay away from the trough. That was the way people lost weight years ago, was to stop
Absolutely.
eating and reduce their plate or whatever. Now the industries surrounding all of this beauty, fitness, health, I mean, pick a subject. We have industries whose job it is to make sure that we don't get our power, and we certainly don't keep it, and keep us in a state of self-loathing or whatever people
Fear.
are feeling. Fear, that's the big one. Fear.
Yeah.
Yeah, fear is huge. And I mean, even Hitler said the bigger the lie, the more it's believed.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
Yeah. But it's like maybe in old times people had different hardships. Now our hardship is very much connected with also electromagnetic field and the way it is saturated with all sorts of frequencies that are just very, very, shall we say, not very beneficial for our body, whether it is radio frequencies or it's the artificial food, and it's the news. People in old times had more physical reality hardships and emotional hardships, all of that. Now we have that plus all the technology that is bombarding our bodies. So because this is like a duality of this experience, because of the technology we also have the ability to reach and get to know to any information that we want, so we can really say no to anybody telling us anything, including this podcast. You can say, Natalia, I don't believe anything that you're saying, and I say good, because I am not trying to convince you of anything. What we are doing here, we're actually opening your awareness to question and use this. Remember in old times, the critical thinking, people stop to think with some awareness, like, is that true? Do I know for sure that it is true? What are you telling me? Is that true? Or is it just some sort of agenda that maybe is not serving me? Just common sense, right, Kate?
and common sense isn't common. That's the problem. But it's not. And again, it goes back to your program, and it goes back to your belief system. And for us, I mean, if you went to a doctor, the doctor was called sir, and there was so much
Authority.
power given to all of the important people like doctors, and and a lot of them were really good and coming from a really good place. But as you say, an awful lot of them know the truth, and they understand that, I suppose for me, it's about how much are they getting out of it. I mean, it's like they want you into the system. I'm of a certain age now where I'm getting letters from a doctor all the time, and they're saying, you need to go and have this done, you need to go and have that done, you need to go, we're looking after you. And I mean, my doctor's disgusted with me because I won't go and get into the system. I'm staying out of the system. Because
Yeah.
when you're in the system, you're in the system forever. I know people who have appointments, there's 4 or 5 appointments a month.
Yep.
So what does that do for your mental health in terms of fear
Absolutely.
and
Yeah.
waiting on results? and you know,
You
it's
know,
just
absolutely. You know, I had like, it was great that you talk about system, because I had a great example of how that works now when I was coming back yesterday from Poland traveling, right? And you're coming to Spain, and you have to now, as we know, a lot of you know, that you have to fill out a form online and you get a code. So you're passing with that code through the border control, and it's like I had the flashback from some, you know, utopian films where you're a little, you know, assembly line robot, and they just ping, 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 just like you have the food in the supermarket. And, you know, that's a great metaphor to what society largely, I mean, what 90% of people, they still live in that reality where they are on the assembly line, where they don't question anything, like, why am I eating that? Why am I listening to that person? Who says? It's like, you actually were born as a sovereign being. I'm not calling for revolution here to go and, you know, do anarchy. At the same time, are you happy with the people that are so-called in charge? Because I know I'm living as a free being, and I pay my taxes and all of that. There are also ways to work around things. You know, you can say no to things. I get messages all the time to get my vaccinations and stuff like that. I say no. I choose to not vaccinate because it's my choice. I have a perfect immune system. I take care of myself. Why is nobody talking about prevention? Why is nobody talking about taking care of your body, who actually has everything that it needs to heal, right? So
mm-hmm.
it is my choice to go, well, I'm not going against anybody. I'm going pro my health, my thriving, my prosperity. And when I thrive and I prosper, I know I can help more people. I will not allow anybody to put a sticker, you know, code on me and put me in that system, just like you. So I actually have a doctor who is very much pro what I'm saying, because if we're on that topic, we may as well. He actually said that it is disgusting what the governments are doing, because the mortality rate of this disease is 99%. I mean, the survival rate is 99%. So, like, to ruin economy and to put the world upside down for this, it's just insane criminal behavior. And I am the youngest of his patients. He's got people who are 80, 90, 100 years old. Nobody died. I'm not taking away from people who died, because, you know, people die every day. People die from medical treatment. People die from eating medicine. People die from everything. You know, that's a part of life, dying.
Yeah.
You know, so to do what has been done because of this virus, well, I don't agree. People can have a different opinion, right? I choose to stand in my power, and I choose to eat vitamin C and a lot of it, and I am perfectly fine. And I choose to just be empowered by my words, and, you know, actually gather with people such as yourself and other beautiful Lovetarians who really choose light, love, empowerment, and they understand how energy works. They understand that you can be very easily controlled if you let it, right? So our job here, I believe your job as well, is just to stand in your power, because we can't change other people. Well, we can influence them by our embodiment. That is my belief. What do you believe?
I absolutely exactly the same. I mean, I'm at the stage now, I just don't even want to talk about COVID, because it's such a very touchy
Loaded topic.
subject for those people who have lost people under the guise of COVID. I mean, I did the research because I worked in the funeral industry. I had more of an insight maybe than the average person in terms of the number of deaths on an annual basis due to all the diseases. But I mean, there was absolutely no difference in
I
terms of the
know.
number.
And it's
But
globally the same, right? Like I mean, anybody can actually check this information. But
yeah,
the problem is that when people take their information as a fact from news, from mainstream news, that becomes a problem.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, that's therein lies a problem, that we believe, we have trust in the information that we're getting, and that's misguided trust. And I suppose as the months and the year of COVID has unfolded, people are starting to ask questions, especially given the fact that the leaflet with the injection comes and says this is not going to prevent you from getting COVID in the future. It's not going to prevent you from transmitting. All of it, it just is such a contradiction. But yet the fear is such that people are programmed to believe what they've been told and therefore accept it. So, and people who are working who really do have to have it because they're working in environments where they're being told that, well, if you don't have it, well, you know, they have an issue. So it's
Well,
brought up so much
yeah.
for
Well,
people.
the purpose of this specific episode is the power of words to heal and to hurt, and we really would like to wrap this up with this message that no matter what is going on, whether it's COVID, it's death in the family, it's bankruptcy, job loss because economy has been hit for a lot of people due to this thing. I shall not put any meaning to it. You know, it is what it is. I could talk about it. That could be a completely different podcast. But words, words, if we would give people some advice, I would say, and I will ask you what you would say, I would say just ask empowering question as opposed to disempowering questions that are gonna come to the source of the truth that you actually have within you. If you allow yourself to take a moment, turn everything off, go into the forest somewhere, connect to nature, ground into Mother Earth, nature, right? And invoke the light within you. I mean, anybody can do it. Anybody. It's not exceptional for someone. Everybody has that divine spark within them. Everybody can connect to Mother Earth, turn off their phone, and just do that every single day for a week and take 15 minutes and start breathing 5 in, 5 out, 5 in, 5 out. Go into meditative state, no distractions, and just start asking questions like, why am I here? What is my life doing for me, right? Like, you will get other questions as well. And like, why is it true that I'm powerful? Why is it true that I can, create a different life? Why do I have the truth within me? It's like play with those concepts. And my God, like a week from now, you will get some messages, I would say, because that's what happens to me and to the people that I'm working with. If you disconnect yourself from that mainstream source of information, you will get the information from the source of your being. Yeah, so that's not my advice, the power of words. So those are the words that I would use to heal yourself, not hurt yourself.
Exactly.
How about you? How about
and
you?
I mean, all self-sabotage, that's what all self-sabotage is. It's the running, again, it's the conditioning, the running program in the background. I can't do this, I'm not good enough, all of the different things. What are people going to think of me? Giving your power away to other people. But going back to the feelings, I mean, what we feel in the body, and why am I feeling this, and why am I nervous, and why, and words then that support, I'm going to be okay, this is going to be okay, this is going to pass, everything's going to be all right, everything, I mean, Esther Hicks, everything's working out for me. You don't know, you can't see the future, you don't know what's down the road, but as you say, what would it look like for me to have the best life that I can have? And how would that be for me, and what the important areas are, and starting to really focus. But it's going inward, and it's knowing yourself. That's the thing.
100%. 100%. And another thing I want to say is like, I would not want people to think that we are encouraging them not to feel any negative emotions or anything like that. It is all a part of life. We actually need to feel to heal, is the old adage, right? You have to feel to heal, but you don't need to drown in negativity and in darkness. You can more, rather than really getting into it, you can just observe it like clouds in the sky. Okay, I'm feeling like shit today. Well, it is what it is. I'm not feeling great. My body's, because when you don't feel good, you literally are disconnecting from the source, from the light, from all the goodness that exists within you. So that's why you don't feel good. It's not that
Mm-hmm.
you don't feel good because something is, oh my God, off. No, it's just that signal. Your body is a compass. You're going in the other direction than the flow of life, this beautiful expansion of goodness and light within you, right? That's why you feel like poop, because you might have some old trauma that you're releasing, whatever programming. And this is, cleanse, detox doesn't feel good, does it?
There's a hard road to getting to that, and as you say, it's very important to feel all the emotions. They're all part of us. They're part of, our past, present, and future. But as you say, not, I suppose the thing about it is about dwelling and going into a downward spiral that you can't get yourself out of. And maybe sometimes, maybe you do need to hit the bottom and then start trying to move up again.
Yeah.
So feeling the emotions and letting them go and transmuting the energy associated. And I suppose for me, the EFT was one of those ways of doing it where I could regulate my nervous system by doing that, by literally getting the energy out of my body and realizing where it was. So in your head or if it's in your stomach or whatever, and listening, because the book The Body Takes Scores. So
Yeah.
identifying within your body where it is and what you need to heal.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's like, we all need to, that's why I love spirituality and energy work, because it is always going to be your own experience. It doesn't matter what Jesus, Buddha, or whomever says, or, Natalia or Kate. You need to feel everything that you need to feel within your own body. You need to investigate with consciousness what is going on in your life, and your life, well, is a mirror of what is going on every level of your being. And if you're willing to do the work, there is availability to all the information that you need. And oftentimes, very often, you don't have to even pay for a lot of it, because it's just so much there. So many
Hmm.
beautiful teachers that are helping people, increase their vibration, if you will, or become more present with what is going on. There's so many modalities, like 1,000,050, and more is coming. So it's just your choice. Do you want to suffer, or do you want to liberate yourself from suffering? It's just a simple question, yes or no. Honestly, there's no maybes, because as long as there's maybes, you're going to be forever feeling like crap.
Exactly. And it's your choice. And I think it's all timing as well. Um, taking one step at a time and understanding that, not beating yourself up because you don't know or
No,
you can't do it or
exactly.
you're reacting, but, it's bit by bit. And I think everybody finds their path. And as I said earlier on, it just so happens that the right book will come in or the right person will come into your life to support you in making the changes that you need to. And just from other people's experience, because other people have gone through mostly what everybody has gone through. So the answers are out there. It's a matter of going and finding them.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. And then you need to just really take responsibility, 100% responsibility, because, there is this time of, somebody coming to save us. Yes, people can assist us, like we assist, we guide, but nobody can get in your skin and do it for you.
Hmm.
This journey you need to walk, and you don't have to walk it alone. There's possibilities to gather, be in community, get support. And that is, one of the purpose of this movement, that we are here to assist and guide. We cannot get behind the driver's wheel, right, and drive your being.
Exactly.
That just doesn't work.
Exactly.
And that's the problem, right, with society in general, en masse, that we are used to presidents, lawyers, priests, doctors fixing us. But nobody can really fix you per se.
Do you really need fixing, or do you need to be put on the path of healing?
Self healing,
Because
right?
we're not broken, we're all experiencing our individual road to hopefully support and help other people and have compassion, as you say, and kindness, because you understand that the trauma that people have gone through. They're the people that go on to support other people because they know exactly how somebody else feels.
Yeah.
Not
Exactly.
exactly how they feel, but they understand, generally the pain, the hurt, the all the different things. And that's why it's so important to have people who are the uplifters and like yourself doing this great podcast and introducing
Mhm.
all the different methods of different types of healing modalities that we
Yeah.
can use and keeping the momentum going against the backdrop of darkness and, you
Yeah.
know, very little light in some people's lives. So it's a lifeline for people.
Yeah, and also, we need to stop being so judgmental of ourselves because, we compare to how other people are doing. We compare one modality to another modality. We know we instead of just acknowledging the fact that there's time and space for everything, that this journey is a winding path, it's a spiral. As long as we keep going, as long as we persevere, as long as we keep developing and evolving, it's all good. And I understand it's easier said than done sometimes because people really love, I mean, people are experts at beating themselves up because of all this conditioning and programming in our childhood, right? But it doesn't have to be that way. As an adult person, you can choose to say, okay, I'm starting new, it's a new day, it's a new dawn, it's a new moment, the power is in the now. Actually, as you know from quantum physics, the future and the past is an illusion. The power is in this present moment, so you can always choose another path. You can say, I'm done with that lesson because everything
Mm-hmm.
that happened was a great teaching experience,
Mm-hmm.
and I can start learning it properly this time and correct my behavior, correct my thoughts, and rebirth, literally rebirth.
Mm-hmm.
Every day can be a new day, right?
Absolutely. That's a Gloria Estefan song. There's
Yeah.
always tomorrow to start over again.
Or like Scarlett O'Hara said, right? In
Yeah,
Gone with the Wind.
yeah,
Tomorrow is another day. But
exactly.
even this moment, there will be a new moment in a second. So literally
Mm-hmm.
it can be carpe momentum, seize the moment. You don't need to wait till you wake up. Doesn't matter if you're 100 years old, you can stop and you can say, okay, the rest of my days I'm going to be living differently.
Exactly. Exactly. It's remembering all of this. when we
Exactly.
get triggered, and when we have, and we revert to the old programming and saying, oh, that's the old programming, I can stop myself in that moment and I have the power to do something about it. And that recognition that I don't have to react in the same way, or I don't have to overthink or overanalyze, or, as you say, let it be. And I mean, those two statements, it is what it is, we are where we are, all of that now is that's what people are saying all the time. And sometimes I think it's beneficial, and sometimes I think, well, hang on a wee minute, that's a ticket for you maybe to do something. Oh, it is what it is, I did it, it is what it is, without taking responsibility.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But how could I have contributed to it and made it a completely different outcome rather than
Well, you can look at life as you are a victim of life and circumstances and all that happened to you, or you can say, no, I'm a co-creator and I've
yeah,
learned from all the, some people call it mistakes. I say mistake is a mistake only if you don't learn from it. If you keep repeating it like a robot over and over and over again, I mean, at some point maybe you become conscious and say, okay, now this is happening again, so what is it that I am doing? Because I love to teach Ho'oponopono or practice Ho'oponopono
yeah,
myself. Great ancient healing practice. And one of the great teachers, Dr. Len, he says, if you've got a problem, who is in it? You. You've got a problem. So take 100% responsibility. It's like I told those examples over and over again when I was doing this mantra talking about power of words. Please forgive me. That's the Ho'oponopono.
hmm
Please forgive me. And I ask forgiveness to this part of myself that was unconscious, to the divine mother, to the field, like, please forgive me, because if I knew better, I would have done better. I'm so sorry. And I love you. And I thank you for this lesson. And I keep taking responsibility for this co-creation, whatever it is that had happened. And I might perceive it for a moment temporarily as somebody did something to me, but in fact, they are showing me something that I need to work on still. And when I do this, I repeat this mantra with a feeling, and I do it over and over and over again. Oh my God, oftentimes the outside circumstances will really change very rapidly, whether it's being upset with my husband and he comes and we reconcile, or a client somewhere, or even, something more dramatic. Everything gets fixed when you take responsibility, or it passes. It passes.
Exactly. And the beating yourself up and the Honopono, that was one that I really benefited hugely from that. I thought it was great, and the background to it and learning about it, and it's a very simple mantra to say, that you could just say it, but the power of those words, even though maybe you don't believe it at the time, but because again, it goes back to, it's that simple and powerful that people don't understand how powerful it is, because it's so simple.
Yes.
And we've so many different, the neuroscience and metaphysics and all the different areas of energy work and all the rest. And everybody thinks it's so difficult and so highbrow or whatever, whenever it's not, whenever it's as simple as saying you can feel somebody's vibration. So if you walk into a room and people are fighting or whatever, you can feel, before you hear one word, you can feel it in your own being that somebody's in bad form.
I often say to people, just get quiet, take those deep breaths on 5 with your nose, out on 5, equal rhythm. Do it for a few minutes, touch your heart, and start saying, I love you. Even close your eyes. I love you. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. And I challenge you to do it for 5 minutes every single day, and then tell me nothing changed. I don't believe that it will not change. It changes. But you need to be willing. You need to be willing to look at the simple thing, because I know mind wants to complicate things. We've been conditioned to complicate things. But no, I mean, life, honestly, the innocence of a child and the joy of a child is actually our nature. That is our nature. That's what we really want to connect to as much as possible. And we know it when we're having fun, right? When we let go.
Absolutely.
What an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's one of the ways to do that, is to find your, the fun within your life. I think a lot of people have lost the fun factor, and trying to find that fun factor. And for me, it was through the music. And again, it came into my life at a time that I needed it, and I wasn't expecting it, and I couldn't have imagined in a million years. And through music and fun and the words of songs and uplifting and changing vibration, and that's what it's done, and healing. So the fun, finding fun and laughter and joy, and that's the real work, is to do that, because you're going to heal automatically through that. And I think that is one of the fastest ways of healing, is fun, and and for self-forgiveness for the things. Through the Honopono, the self-forgiveness, please forgive me, acknowledging the fact that maybe you have contributed, taking responsibility.
People, they have, I don't know about you, but a lot of people I work with, they have this difficulty with forgiveness. Like, why do I have to ask forgiveness for? What do I have to be sorry for? And here's the thing, subconscious runs the show. You don't know at which level of your being, and you are a multidimensional being in this lifetime, other lifetimes, who knows, who cares? Do you really care? Because if you want to know why, good luck to you. Why don't you just take responsibility that if it is in your life, it is a problem. Does it cause a problem for you? It does, doesn't it? So do something about it, right? And forgive yourself for at whichever level you have contributed to it. Just be simple about it.
Exactly.
Or spend, 10 years going to therapy and paying very hefty fees. That's your choice too.
Again, another industry, Irish people drank. They didn't go to counsellors. They drank to soothe the pain. And, so I think that Yeah, exactly. And I think that the awareness now, it's great. I mean, I think about the generations to come, how much they're going to know. They already do know. They're so tuned in compared to what we were, and having the access to information has been absolutely huge. So it gives you a sense of feeling that there is so much hope for the future with young people and their attitude, and
Absolutely.
just they understand it better than us. And as you say, the children, I mean, oh boy, there's nothing like the children to show you what you're doing wrong.
What you can really return to, and that's
Yeah,
where you come from. Your innocence of a child. That is that nature of our creatrix. That nothing is impossible. Everything is
exactly.
possible. And then you start telling children, don't do this, don't do that. But in old times, people were not fussing. Children were playing in the mud and they were perfectly fine. They were falling off the trees. They were doing this and that. Nobody was like, oh my God,
Exactly.
perspective, right?
Exactly. Trust and faith. Everything's
Everybody
going
has
to.
the journey that they need to travel on. I'm not saying to be reckless, just be really present, responsible, common sense, critical thinking, and empowerment, which is available right now all over. I mean, you want empowerment, just go on YouTube and I don't know, empowering videos. My God, millions of hits, right? So
Absolutely.
we are living in the age of information, and that is the beautiful part, and that is also the ugly part. So the duality of human experience, you need to choose to focus on the Lovetarian way, which is the way of light. And I don't care what you call the Lovetarian way, as long as it's self-love, self-compassion, self-forgiveness, beauty of life, seeing all that is well, and also using your beautiful mind for what it was actually created to do. Be in alignment with your beautiful heart, not running the show, being mad, crazy, ego driven, right?
Exactly.
And pump your mind with such wisdom. This is ancient wisdom. This is beautiful, beautiful words that are coming from people that actually know a thing or two. And they can
They've
really
lived it.
inspire and uplift.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Kate,
Exactly.
final words, my beautiful, because we're coming on to 1.5 hours now. What would you like to say to our viewers more? Because this is going to be there forever.
I think have fun in through it all and make time to have fun. I think that it's one of the missing components that, given everything that's going on in the world and communities, macro and micro levels, just, try and have fun and laugh and get as much enjoyment into your life as you can and see the benefits of that.
So choose the words that will uplift you.
Absolutely. And I mean, Esther Hicks says, write the word down, fun, fun, fun. What does it mean? What does it mean to have fun? And find that inner child. I'm lucky enough to be exposed to a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old. So I'm learning to run through the puddles again, and I'm learning to, watch and observe those beautiful wee girls from a place of fun. And that's all they're looking for. What's next? What's
Yeah.
next? Fun. What's
Yeah.
next?
Yeah. And
So
we as a society has also been conditioned to associate fun with boozing and drugs and whatnot. That's not the fun we're talking about. We're talking about this childlike innocence, purity, right? Of that fun.
exactly.
That
Singing, dancing, movement, climb the tree.
breathing, honestly, breath, there are so many breathing techniques that can shift your state. We're really working with that a lot in our workshops. I mean, the breath can literally stop your heart and it can completely shift your state. So do some research on YouTube. You will find how in 1 minute of certain breathing modalities, you can literally explode your mind with joy or depress yourself. So you need to breathe properly because honestly, breath is our primary nourishment. You can live without food, you can live without water for quite some time, but you stop breathing for a few minutes, you done.
Yeah, exactly.
So have fun. I mean, this is now Friday. Oh my God, what is it? Thanks God it's Friday, right? Let's create such life. Well, we don't need to say thanks God it's Friday, because we're gonna be super grateful that it's Monday, because we will change the biochemistry of our bodies. We'll use the words that uplift us, the thoughts that, you know, Monday is not a drug. I'm looking forward to this beautiful day and what it's bringing, right? It's Monday.
Exactly.
New possibilities, right?
Yep. Every day is a gift. Every single day is a gift. We're not going to be here for too long. You know, I mean, we're only passing through. My father used to say there'll not be a word about us in 100 years. So.
But there could be. You could leave the legacy of love if you choose to. So
yes, absolutely.
It's not going to be you, that person, but you might leave something, right? Beautiful.
Exactly. Well, we all have our contribution to make, and, you know, everybody, again, back to responsibility. Are you going to make somebody's day a good day, or are you going to contribute to making somebody's day a horrible day? Or, you know, if you can, just the kindness, the joy, happiness, especially at this time, whenever we all need a good dose of fun and upliftment, especially coming into the winter.
Exactly. Well, you know, it's like, I think the good way to finish this would be, you know, just observe how you feel and how what you say to yourself makes you feel, and go more to the places and embrace more of those that make you feel alive, joyful, loving, and practice more of that, and you're gonna be fine and your life will transform. Because I've experienced that. Oh my God, I'm 45. I probably suffered for good 30 years of my life. So yeah.
It's time.
Yeah, exactly. Don't wait. Just start today. Start thinking differently. Start taking responsibility for the energies you take in and you exude out into the world, because it is all connected. Be a joyful, loving, light being. Choose that. Regardless, because things always happen. There will always be things happening outside of you, but you actually contribute to those things by shining more light or dimming your light. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good girl. Well, you look like an angel, Del, in your dark room, Kate. So thank you for your beautiful light. And this podcast is going to be, it's on YouTube, it's on Facebook, it's all over. Eventually, we will also turn it into audio and put it on some podcasting platforms. So you can listen to it for many years to come. And maybe Kate will come back to us in a while, tell us what's up with her, you know, and how you have been shining your beautiful light more and more and more. So, Lovetarians, thank you for tuning in. Next week, we are meeting Colin Lewis. Colin is coming back with a fabulous, he's a magician, like the best magician you can imagine, you know, with a K, magician, magic of transformation, working with the energies of the moon and the Mother Earth and power of words and power of thought and coding and whatnot. We always have so much fun. So this time we're going to be talking to Colin about developing your intuition, which is really amazing, because your intuition is actually the voice of your higher self, the tuition from within. And the more you tune in, the more you listen, the better the life is going to be. Cool. So now I wish you a wonderful weekend. Kate, thank you so much for coming. Until we meet again.
Thank you very much, Natalie.
Thank you. Have a good one.
And talk to you too. Bye.
Thank you.